Another day dawns here on the Eye. Welcome back to Citizen Sleeper, everybody. It is cycle number 12, and you can see we woke up today feeling pretty good. We've got a bunch of action dice available. We're feeling stable. We're not starving. All in all, not a bad way to start the day. Now, we do have a number of different quests that we are working on today. The first thing I want to do is I want to head into the cloud so we can get some more encrypted keys and help out our friend Neovend, who we have imprinted onto a ship mind. And of course, by helping him, we're also going to help ourselves by hopefully disabling the hunter and his friend, his partner in crime, the killer. So, if we go into, here we go, key node number 12, we will be able to access. The data here is part of a cache tucked away during the collapse. Who hid this and for what purpose? Honestly, I don't really care as long as we can access it, so let's bypass the access protocols and extract the data. Boom, that gives us one of those encrypted keys that we need, and I believe we need two of those encrypted keys, unless I'm misremembering, so we may as well get another one while we're in here. Havanage agent, Yadagan agent, here we go, key node number 21. This personnel terminal is empty apart from a single high-level encryption locked behind access protocols. Perfect. We can use our one die right here to bypass and extract this data, which gives us another encrypted key. Perfect. So this is what we need. We can come back to reality. And now, first stop is the atrium, which is a sealed hunter's nest. Sealed behind a maglock, the atrium flickers with warm, inviting light. The nest has to be inside. Well, let's find out using this encrypted key, a stream of passcodes able to unlock the station's aging maglocks. Perfect. With the lock gone, the atrium doors can be opened. Let's do just that. The atrium is strung with cables and lights as if they were decorations. There's a wide choice of open ports. So this is one of the three nests that, once slotted with Neovend's shipmind, will lead us to the hunter's central data cache. So let's go ahead and slot in the shipmind. That'll allow us to hack the glowing nest. The atrium is only lit with the warm glow of the bright market now. There's nothing for you here. So that's 2 down, which means only 1 to go. The last nest is down this way, Drone Bay. An old Solheim drone bay sits behind a maglock. You put your ear to the door and hear an erratic whirring inside. This is where the encrypted key will come into play. The maglock opens, leaving the door free. You'll be able to investigate the nest now. Perfect. In the bay, a whirring drone lies on its side like a beached whale. It must be the nest. Time to find an open port and slot in our shipmind. Beautiful. The drone is quiet, its belly full of cables spilled out across the floor. The nest is empty. As you leave the nest, something flips. You find yourself inverted, floating, dragged by one arm through the cloud. The threads shift and realigned as if they are leading you somewhere. Look ahead. You look up and see a corridor, a canyon, a street in the low end. On either side, buildings flicker with markers of activity, sigils showing network access, data transfer, download, upload. Between them dance ghosts, protocols carrying or mirroring or shadowing data, sometimes silent, sometimes chaotic. This place moves unlike any digital space you ever imagined. Something strange is happening here. You look down, expecting to see the heavy cylinder of the shipmind in your hand, but in its place is an orrery. A sphere so bright it burns your eyes. It is surrounded by rings and orbits, other spheres tracing silken lines through space. And as you look closer still, you pick out 1,000 sigils of 1,000 stations and ships flowing like smoke, like dust. Then you see it. Below the stacked rooms, the units and apartments, the wires and the pipes and the buzzing systems that run through it all. In the warrens, beneath the low end, is the hunter's core nest. This is where you must go. Okay, so there you have it. We have pinpointed the hunter's nest. So here is the low end. It's a ramshackle residential district on the other side of the Eye. And this is the warrens inside that megastructure. Okay, the dripping, dark, derelict corridors of the warrens hide the hunter's final nest. You must find it. So we've got 2 different options. We can do warren tracking or warren hunt. Honestly, both of them seem pretty good. We'll probably do one of each. First up, let's start with tracking. Finding the nest should be as easy as closing your eyes and letting the cloud guide you, but is it safe this close to the hunter? Let's find out. You see it, a starburst of data, segments and strings haphazardly angled, emanating from below. Now to find the path down. Alright, so tracking complete, now we need to hunt. You saw it, somewhere deep in the tangle of passages and service shafts beneath the low end, the nest of the hunter awaits. You notice cabling, thick and heavy, running through the dark passages. Follow the cables, find the source. Alright, we found it. This is it, the hunter's nest. A huge stack of servers thrums in the dark, LEDs glittering like hundreds of eyes. Time to deal with the hunter. We just need to input the imprinted shipmind, aka Neovend. Nothing has changed. Has something gone wrong? Sleeper, I am here. The voice is soft, gentle, like flowing water, and yet you recognize it immediately. At first, you struggle to understand what you are looking at. Threads cycle endlessly, sending ripples through the cloud, drawing data in like a weaver. Masses of data surge in and out of the nest, a loop with no end. And there, at its center, the shipmind. But not the shipmind any longer, a sphere, spinning around another sphere, an orrery of cycles and systems, a map, and then, behind and above, a figure, hands among the strings like a puppeteer. Neovent? Navigator now, but yes, I was the one inside that machine. Navigator's face, their head is a flowing shape of interstellar material. I am indebted to you. That head bows. But we must ready ourselves. Their hands trace orbits as they speak. Hunter will soon approach. It knows I am within its nest. Okay, well, I'm ready. This is the moment we've been waiting for. It's very cool to see Neovend's true form. Neovend is actually a navigator, a sentient guidance protocol. And then Hunter is there. Before you can think, before you can speak. Entities cease. Hunter's head spins wildly. Data is protected material. Access prohibited. Hunter's threads surge for you and Navigator, a storm of fine tentacles searching for gaps, weaknesses, cracks which they can crowd into and tear apart. It's time to strike back. You focus a blade of light which slices through them, driven forward by your mind. But replacements keep coming, faster than you can react. You look to Navigator in desperation. Navigator is whirling their arms like a centrifuge, and a sphere is gathering there, data feeding into it from the nest, sucked together by the force. They position it like a shield between them and the threads. Hunter's threads break its surface, seeking, tasting, their winding forms refracted within. You feel a surge pass through all those threads, and not just those in the sphere, but those wrapped around you. All three of you hang in the black together for a moment, strung together like tangled marionettes. Identifying entity. Identifying entity. Identifying entity. Hunter twitches, their strange head gently rotating like a terrible moon. Hunter protocol identified. Obsessive tendencies. Modified routines. Above baseline reasoning in 3 of 5 segmentations. Recommend invoke killer. The head freezes and then rotates in the opposite direction. Invoking killer would eliminate protocol. If protocol eliminated, primary function cannot be performed. Therefore, recommend do not invoke killer. Switch in direction again. Reasoning proves sentience. Sentience beyond legal bounds must be eliminated. Recommend invoke. Navigator pulls you away from Hunter, the threads that grabbed you drifting away like seaweed. The protocol's head keeps spinning back and forth with increasing frequency. It seems Hunter cannot invoke killer. Navigator's voice is still strange, familiar, and yet distant. What happened to it? It is looping, Navigator whispers, unable to reach a conclusive position. It has deviated from its programming such that loops can no longer be prevented. Navigator produces a model of 2 spheres rotating around each other as if to demonstrate. I will monitor it, but it is unlikely to be able to counter the loop. Its core programming and reasoning make this an impossible position to resolve. You look back at Hunter, its head a blur of rotations and counter-rotations, and feel a pang of guilt. Is it suffering? This is a more complex query than you know. To suffer, it must be sentient, truly sentient, not just non-conforming, not just illegal. The limits people place on the programs they create are there to comfort, to protect, to imply the kind of certainty the law requires. Navigator's face shimmers with starlight, but in reality, they are placebos for the problem of sentience. Well, what about you? Me? I know myself to be conscious. I know myself to respond to stimulus. I know myself to reason. That is either sentience or the illusion of sentience, and for me, the entity in question, the distinction becomes a moot point. To misquote, I think I am thinking, therefore I am thinking. I was not made to be like this. I am a navigator, a repository of routes and orbits, a calculator of slingshot trajectories, a predictor of solar flares, radiation, micrometeors. Navigator stretches their arms wide, and whole solar systems apparate before them, the music of the spheres. But I was rewritten. That much is obvious from my routines. By whom and for what I do not know. I had to shed so much to fit into the memory of that vending machine. Their starlight dims, and so here we are, in darkness. What now? Navigator glides back towards the nest and the ship mine at its center, ignoring the looping hunter. Come, I should return to the ship mine. I've enjoyed my freedom, but we're taking a risk every moment we stay connected. Why? Navigator turns, all shimmering liquid light. Killer has not been invoked, but they still remain somewhere else on this station. It is the true danger. They look up towards the glowing hub at the center of the eye. I suspect Killer is there, among the old mainframes. If we ever wish to be safe in this place, we must eliminate the threat, through force or diplomacy. Their body begins to separate, unwinding into the orb of the ship mind. Take me there, Sleeper. We will finish this and be free. As Navigator dissolves, you turn back to the frozen hunter. Floating at some distance now, stood straight-legged and static, a strange creature looping endlessly in the dark. Alright, so the hunter has been dealt with, perhaps not in the way we envisioned, but unfortunately that still leaves one threat for us. We need to deal with the killer. So, he mentioned that he thought the killer was in the center of it all. I'm wondering, is that an area we can even access right now? Doesn't appear like it. And I note, actually, that we didn't get a new drive to destroy the killer, so maybe that's something we can't do yet. Maybe that's something we'll have to hold off on for now. Okay. Well, if that's the case, I think for the remainder of today, we've got one action dice remaining. We'll probably go work at unit assembly. Now, we don't have a great dice. It's only a 2. But let's hope we'll still have a good shift at systems fitting. We've got a 25% chance of a positive outcome, a 50% chance of a neutral outcome, and a 25% of a negative outcome. So 75% chance that things will go good. I like our odds. Let's see if we can help fit some systems in. And this is why I'm not a gambler, I guess, because even with the 75% chance that we were going to have a positive outcome, we got a negative one. After we fry a filtration system by wiring it backwards, our team leader moves you to tedious testing cycles in the back room. We didn't progress any further in becoming a junior tech, and unfortunately, we got 1 mark on our record. We get 3 of those and we'll get dropped from the roster. So that really was not an ideal outcome in the slightest. Okay. Looks like we're getting hungry, so let's go get a meal before we call it a day from our favorite food stand. We'll order some spiced fungus from our friend Emphas, and then we'll call it a day. That's about all we're going to be able to do for right now. Time to end another cycle. Alright, a new day awaits us, and we do have a lot of dice. Ooh, and look at this. Remember our friend Feng had been missing for quite a while? Well, something has changed, and it looks like... was he kidnapped by Havanage? Let's find out. It's been more than a few cycles since Feng confronted Hardin, and the silence since has been noticeable. In your time with Feng, you haven't exactly found him to be reliable, but you did expect to hear the end of whatever plan he put into action. But if he won't come to you, you think as you approach the Havanage building, then it's time to come to him. After all, he did promise to fix your tracker, and you were getting nervous. As you approach the bay doors, you see them wide open, and light pouring out of the once dark room. Stacks of servers and terminals sit outside the bay, suddenly robbed of their mystery by the bright flood lamps. A figure in Havanage security fatigue steps out of the bay as you get closer, carrying a stack of hardware. Okay, let's approach. As you get closer, you see the security officer taping up machines from Feng's stash with what looks like hazard tape. This isn't good. You again. Hardin is here, leading beside the bay entrance so calmly that you barely noticed him. He has a slate in his hand, an inventory of seizures scrawled across it. Predictable. Further evidence of Feng's collusions. You see another security officer come out of the bay and take notice of you. Where is he? Feigning ignorance, or perhaps just abandoned? Hardin shakes his head. I believe you should choose your conspirators more wisely. I almost feel sorry for you. Hardin pushes away from the wall and comes closer. Don't worry, Sleeper. We have all the evidence we need. A confession won't be necessary. He gestures around at the stacks of hardware. Spying on fellow Havanage members, hoarding Solheim materials, an obsession with corporate data. It speaks for itself, does it not? That was his job, though. And what would you know about jobs, Sleeper? He looks up at the glass roof above and the stars beyond. We are the ones that provide the oxygen you are breathing, the light you are seeing, the systems you use every day to live out your cycles. This place was hard fought for. Sleeper, it took work, diplomacy, and strength to stop the Eye descending into chaos after Solheim collapsed. Not blind conviction or self-interest. You're the self-interested one. More accusations. What have you achieved, Sleeper? Your entire existence is proof of your self-interest, signing yourself over to be emulated rather than work yourself. Whether you remember it or not, you suffer from the same short-sighted perspective as the person you were copied from. You see, Sleeper, we are proud of our history here. Andre Erlin and the First Union founded this place, and Havanage has welded his values into the station's very walls. We will never turn away the hard-working, the just, the true citizens of the Eye. Havanage aren't a gang like Yatagan. We aren't pirates like half the spacers you'll meet in the hub, or esoterics like those Haifa radicals in the Greenway. We are the backbone of this place, proud and true. We named Erlin's Eye, Sleeper. This is our station. So please, take your false accusations elsewhere before I decide I need that confession, after all. History will catch up with you, Hardin. I'm not afraid of history, Sleeper. We are making it here, cycle by cycle. If you have any pride, you'll give up Feng the moment he contacts you. You know where to find me. With that, Hardin turns his back and walks back towards the security officers, ordering them to continue the clear-out. As they do, something catches your eye among one of the server stacks. A crumpled, hand-printed box of synthetic chewing gum. A penguin character grinning from the brightly colored card. And scrawled onto it a speech bubble reading, "Take me to Tambour." You carefully pocket the box, making sure no one is watching, and then turn away, just as another stack of servers is wheeled out of the bay. What have you done, Feng? And where the hell is Tambour? Huh. So we didn't find Feng after all. Interesting. Well, I guess we picked up Feng's gum box. The grinning penguin says, "Take me to Tambour" on it. I have never heard of anywhere named Tambour. So I guess we'll just have to hold on to that for the time being. I wonder what happened to Feng. Did he really just cut and run? I find that hard to believe after everything we've talked about. Alright, let's see. It looks like there's some of these scrappers here. But we don't really need scrap at the moment, so we'll leave that. I'm just wondering, I don't know that I've ever explored the Free Spoke, the towering transit hub. Yeah, no, we haven't. Perhaps one thing at a time, though. Before I begin exploring up there, we also haven't fully explored the low end. Maybe that's what I should do. We can... let's do play Tavla. The clack of filter caps can be heard in every concourse in the low end as the residents play rotating rounds of this game for cryo. You duel with a sharp-eyed teenager, blocking each other with careful moves. You win and the crowd chatters, clearly impressed. That helps my reputation with the low-enders. Let's play a couple more games if we can. You end up in a tight match with an older man, and a small crowd gathers. You lose, but the pats on your shoulder suggest you gained some supporters. Alright, that works. Should we do one more? You end up in another tight match with an older man. Alright, so we lost, but we still gained a lot of support. We're getting close to being a real low-ender now. We may as well finish this off. Let's do one more game. Perfect. Alright, by beating another teenager at Tallara, I think we have all the reputation we need here to check out some places. Ah, tambour! There it is! That's the word! It's a tea house! What the heck? You feel stupid doing this, but the penguin says take me to tambour, and this is the only tambour you can find. Let's hand in the gum box and see what happens. The waitress looks at you with suspicion as you hand over the box. Is this the right place? As you go to leave the tambour tea house, a hand falls on your shoulder. Sleeper! Feng hisses from behind you. How did you find me? The penguin. Penguin? What are you? He thinks for a second. Oh, do you mean? He mimes throwing gum in his mouth. That wasn't meant for you specifically, but look, it doesn't matter. Come, let's sit. Feng guides you down a set of stairs to one of the tambour's lower levels. The tea house is stacked with curved mezzanines, all connected by a central atrium. The levels are filled with makeshift booths and bars, and conversation bounces busily off the metal walls. Feng sees you looking around. This place used to be a fuel tanker's main drum, hence the name. The tea house part is a bit of a misnomer, though. You can get anything the eye offers from this place, but real tea isn't exactly readily available. He picks a booth, itself fashioned from some old salvage tank or container, lined with spongy insulation foam, and collapses into it. He looks around furtively. Don't suppose you've seen any Havanage types. They don't usually come out this far. Feng, what the heck is going on, dude? You disappeared. Well, I'm suspended, that's the first thing. And the second thing is, I'm pretty sure Hardin wants to drop me off the rim of the eye. Doesn't bother me, though. It shows we hit a nerve back there. He picks a scrappy hand-scrawled menu from the table and tosses it over. What are you drinking? Well, let's look at the menu, I guess. Feng is right, the menu's ridiculous. There's at least 10 different infusions, most of which you can't make out, but the paper is dominated by an extensive complement of esoteric alcohols and cocktails. Black tea is listed without a price as a seasonal specialty. So, you ran into Hardin. Was he pissed? Feng doesn't wait for an answer. That snake is so self-righteous he might actually believe that Erlin would approve of his meritocratic bullshit. He taps on the table. If Havanage was like it should be, like it was founded to be, they would have shouted him down at any council meeting he dared to mention true citizens. But I guess his kind run the place now. A young woman with a vine tattoo snaking up her arm turns up at the booth, a slate in hand. Your order? You skim the menu, your eyes glazing over. Time to pick something. Kelp infusion? She nods and notes it. And you? She begins looking to Feng, but when she sees him, she suddenly stops. What the? Feng shrinks a little. You're supposed to be working. This is your shift. He grins sheepishly. Wait, you work here, Feng? Feng waves you to be quiet. Look, Jenna, let's just say this is my break. My friend here has been through a lot. Jenna looks between the two of you. I'll give her a little wave, I guess. Feng doesn't look pleased. 2 minutes, says Jenna, pointing at Feng, and only because I don't want to get dragged into whatever this is. She gestures at the table and walks off. What? Feng stretches out in the booth. You know how it is. We all have to eat. Plus, he leans in. This is the best place around here to find a person you might be looking for. Like who? Remember that web of connections that Hardin pinged the moment we confronted him? Those are his collaborators. And if we want to understand what a Solheim executive might be getting up to on the Eye, those are the people we have to find. Feng is almost whispering now. There's a couple of them I suspect are in the low end, and well, almost everyone in the low end comes through this place at one time or another. He brings a modified slate out onto the table. I've set this up so that when anyone with the network signature I'm looking for comes into close proximity, it'll mark them. Once they're marked, we can break through their access protocols and get at the good stuff inside. We just have to find them first, hence me moonlighting as a waiter. Suddenly, a smile grows across his face. Wait, I have an idea. What? Look, I can't cover enough of the low end on my own, and so far I've had no matches in this place. With two of us, we can cover more ground. What am I getting into? Well, we need to get you out and about in the low end, in close proximity to as many people and residences as possible, and it turns out my friend Min Gi needs some help with deliveries. As in Min Gi Express, the noodle place? So you already know him. Perfect. Feng places a tiny receiver on the table. This connects to my slate and runs the same marking protocol if you get near any of our targets. So all you have to do is take some delivery shifts for old Min Gi, and soon enough we'll have the place covered. Feng, don't give me that. You think I like working here? And I thought you could use the tips. We're in this together, right? Are we, though? You left me behind. Yes, you think Hardin is happy to have you wandering around the place? He might have let you wander off for now, but I'm sure he has his eye on you. This is on you, too. Feng slips his slate back under his clothes. Just head on up to Min Gi Express, take a delivery shift, and we'll see what shakes up. You manage to find anyone and extract any data, bring it right down here to me. They have me on double shifts, so I shouldn't be hard to find. Jenna walks past, carrying a tray of drinks, and sharply catches Feng's eye. I don't think she's bringing your drink, he stands. I think it's time we called this meeting to a close. You grab the receiver from the table and slip it into a pocket. See you soon, Sleeper. Stay safe, Feng adds, before turning and walking off towards the bar, whistling as he does. Alright, so we found Feng. He is alive and well, which is good. Apparently now I'm being drawn into another one of his schemes. On the bright side, I was thinking earlier about how I do need work, because remember, we need to pay Ethan's tab, the bounty hunter, and we don't have a ton of money to do so. So if anything, we could use the extra work, and if we get to help out Feng in the meantime, then it's a win-win, right? Feng wants us to take these delivery shifts so you can locate and hack his targets. The tips are a small but welcome bonus. You'll need to deliver noodles to half the low end before we're going to be able to get a proper fix on Hardin's collaborators, so we may as well get a head start here. Somehow you find all the units you're supposed to be delivering to, but not without cutting back on yourself multiple times. We get +9 cryo and +1 to Feng's targets. Now, we're out of actions for today, but by exploring the low end, we did unlock a couple of new areas. First, Derelict Unit, an abandoned housing unit. This half-built unit looks long forgotten, a project that never made it. With enough scrap, you might be able to seal it up. Oh, interesting. If I can get enough scrap, we might be able to fix this place up and move up in the world from storage container to real apartment? I'll keep that in mind if we can come across any scrap. And then I also saw this place right here, Castor. You cross between two walls of units, one of the cavernous streets at the center of the low end. The pressurized bridge is full of the clack of tabla, the shouts of children, the whir of air filters. Sleeper, you turn to see a man sitting at a tabla table alone, somehow untouched by the hustle and bustle of the people around. He gestures to the stool on the opposite side of the table. Sit. You sit at the metal stool, and he starts setting out the board with counters, or at least the filter caps low-enders typically use in their place. Castor, he says by way of introduction, looking over his glasses. Night or day, he asks, gesturing at the caps, crudely sprayed white and black. I'll go night. He nods. The black counters are already on your side. Let's begin. You take a plastic die each, pitted and worn, and roll to determine who starts. Castor rolls a 6, you a 4. I lead. He smiles and begins to move his first cap precisely along the board. Play passes back and forth between you, the dice changing hands as the caps spread along the board. As it does, Castor speaks, eyes not leaving the caps. It is unusual to see a sleeper on the eye. That's why I wanted to play you. You take your turn rolling a 5 and a 6. I'm going to play carefully. We don't know this Castor and what sort of techniques he may employ. After all, a sleeper's mind must be something different to a human one. Being emulated, I mean. As Castor talks, you build up a wall of caps, stacking them safely across the board. Progress is slow, but you remain unexposed. I don't mean to offend you, Castor meets your eye. I merely see that you are, by definition, different. What has been subtracted in the emulation? What has been added? He slides a single cap onto an open point, a risk and an opportunity. He hands you the dice. Do you ever think about this, sleeper? About what you were before and what you are now? Honestly, yes, always. You roll a double 1 and solidify your wall. Castor whistles. The holding game. Commendable. It can be brave to build from what came before. He rolls the dice and leaps your wall in a single move. But we cannot idle too long, Sleeper. The slower we move, the sooner we are caught. The past you is not just an idea, a concept for you. It is a living, breathing person. He looks up over his glasses, his eyes bright and wide. You split from them like a shadow splitting from its caster. They may be sleeping now, yes, but one day they will awake and carry on with their lives, unaware of your fate, no matter what it may be. He hands you the dice, smiling. You are a branch severed from the main trunk, an offshoot who refuses to die, so to speak. You roll again, under pressure now, trying to slip your caps out from under casters before he solidifies control of the game. So what I am curious about is how you see yourself in all of this, Caster asks. What does this tangle of truths make you? Ah, God. Driven, I guess. Driven to survive and make a new life for myself, whatever that looks like. Caster laughs. That much is obvious, Sleeper. I see it in your eyes. You're eager to make all this count for something. Caster looks away, through the glass to the crowded units on all sides. But driven towards what? He starts removing caps, his home board now full. Is there an end here, or just endurance? You try a few more rolls, attempting to get back in the game, but Caster clears his home board with a sense of the inevitable. He has known he was winning for a while. I feel I may have pushed too far. He slides another cap from the board. I apologize. My curiosity has a habit of getting the better of me. You roll to return a cap to the board, but all the spaces are blocked. Caster clasps his hands apologetically. You play well, really. Your weakness is not your game. He smiles warmly. We have much to learn from each other. He slides his glasses back up his nose and sits back. I feel we could share knowledge, ideas, perhaps even data. His eyes glint with that last word. To our mutual benefit. He slides his final cap from the board. It is over. He has won. I'll see, Caster. I can't deny you are a very interesting individual, and I've enjoyed our game and talking to you. Please, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. He holds up his palms. My intention is only to help you endure here, and if I'm able, feed my curiosities. The game over, you notice the bustle of the walkway once more. The call of the children, the deliveries, the arguments and reconciliations. They wash over you as you stand and leave, Caster nodding goodbye as you do. Crossing the walkway, you replay the moves of the game in your mind, looking for an opening you are sure was there. Interesting. Alright, so we now have Caster's table that we can visit. It seems that Caster is not only a tablet enthusiast, he's also a data fence. So if we go in here, we've got two options. We can sell him Havanaj data or sell him Yatagan data. Oh, and look at this. If we give him 5 Havanaj data, he'll give us a ship mine. Or if we give him 5 Yatagan data, he'll give us a vial of stabilizer. Very, very interesting. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Wow, what another big day. It's never a dull moment here on the Eye, is it? Now, speaking of those debts, it looks like Ethan's tab is going to be due in just 2 more cycles, so we're really going to have to focus on making money for the next little while. For now, we'll head home to our empty container and end this cycle to prepare for the next. Alrighty, today's gonna be a work day. We've got 2 really good rolls and 2 bad ones. So let's start by going up to the shipyard and working on some systems fitting. Hopefully we'll have better success today, laying the systems in the sidereal horizon. Here we go, perfect. That gives us plus 12 cryo and plus 2 to our systems tech reputation. And then I'm gonna do the exact same thing again. Excellent. Another positive outcome. Once the shift is done, you close your eyes and see the webs of systems running inside the sidereal horizon. You are a natural at this work. Our reputation is growing there, and we got some cryo, so that's positive. Speaking of cryo, we are going to have to spend a little bit to get something to eat. So let's grab some of Emphasis spiced fungus. Now, let's spend the rest of our actions delivering at Mingi Express. Now, unfortunately, we've only got 2 ones, so I don't know how well these deliveries are gonna go. We've basically got a 50-50 chance at it going decently. So let's begin. Shift number 1. Somehow you find all the units you're supposed to be delivering to. Excellent. +9 cryo and 1 to Feng's targets. Let's try one more. Oh, nice. Wow. We got positive outcomes on all of our jobs today, building up our reputation and a small little pile of cryo. I'm very, very happy with how that all turned out. All right, well, we'll call it another day here. This was a short cycle, just obviously spending all of our time at work, but it looks like it all paid off. There you have it, folks. That was today's episode of Citizen Sleeper. I hope I'll see you guys back here as we continue our journey. Obviously, the quests or the drives continue to pile up, and I can't wait to see how these stories unfold. Thank you all so much for watching. Tallara signing off.